Hi,
So,
hi.
how are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing so good. Super ready to talk about my top home invasion horror movies with my
Yeah,
bestie.
besties. I'm so excited. We planned this like way ahead of time, and I've been dying to get you on here to have like a conversation with you. We have to talk about your cute earrings and your cute background.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know if you can see them from this distance, but
Yes.
they're ghost face and they're super cute and very light. They're made of polymer clay. The user is on Instagram at bad.basement, I believe. She
Love
is so
it.
awesome. Jasmine is super great. And my beautiful I am your mother hereditary sweater made by our mutual friend Laptop Lassane, also on
Love him.
Instagram. He is so cool. He's got so many wonderfully wicked designs.
So talented.
I always want to know like what he's doing next, like what franchise he's gonna dip his toes into next. He's got
Love it.
great art mind.
Oh, okay. I should. I feel bad. I should have wore a better shirt. Oh my god.
You're just out of this world.
Okay, thank you. You know how to always make me feel so wonderful. Thank you.
That's bestie behavior.
Yeah. Okay, so before we dive in, just for everyone who's joining us now, we're going to be sharing our top home invasion horror movies. We're going to be sharing our top three. And if we have time for a bonus, we'll do a bonus. And of course, we're going to know like some of your favorites. I did ask people on Twitter and I did see some familiar ones. There was one that I haven't seen. So I just added that to my list. Let me see if I can pull it up again. I should have had this ready to go, but it's fine. We're besties.
Yeah, we have literally all the time in the world.
We do. We do. Oh, we're so connected.
I saw one user who actually guessed my number one, and I was like, I can see it just because of like obviously like its reach.
Yeah.
But there were a couple in there that I was just like, I don't know if I've seen this.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that's the magic of Twitter. Okay, yeah, it's this one. Andrew totally Tara, he says
Yeah,
House on the Edge of the Park. I haven't seen that one.
I
Right?
don't think I've seen it either.
Okay,
Did it
well,
give like a year of release?
I have no idea. I never even heard of it. Like so,
Okay.
I'm confused. I'm so confused. But it's fine. This is great
Right.
because I love getting recommendations.
Same.
But before we dive into our list, we have to talk about what you've been watching lately.
Oh
You
goodness.
know, so what's something that you not everything because that's
Right.
crazy. I mean, unless you want to, I don't mind. But what's one of your favorite things that you recently checked out that you have to share with us?
Oh my gosh. Well, last night I watched Alone in the Dark for the very first time. It's got Martin Landau, Donald Pleasance, who we know from Halloween as Dr. Loomis. And it's like this like cuckoo bonkers bananas, also home invasion, oddly enough,
Mhm.
about these like three psychiatric patients. They like break into this like psychiatrist's house. They like torture and like steal his daughter. It's like
Oh,
it's very like I mean, yeah, it's like very like for the times, but one thing that really stood out to me was its use of the hockey mask.
hmm
And I believe it's actually I think it might be like right around the time when like Jason like the sequel had come out, so he had like still hadn't had his mask. So it was just like it was really cool to see like a hockey mask come into the horror scene without it
hmm
having like any tie to
Ah,
Jason Voorhees.
that's so true. It's been a
Oh,
couple of years since I've checked that one out. I definitely have to go back.
the opening scene is this like really like surrealistic diner dream sequence, and it's
Ooh,
just like so much fun. I know you and I share a lot of similarities when it comes to like
mhm.
80s cheese. We eat
We
it
do.
all the
We
way
love
up.
it.
So I mean, if you haven't like watched it in a while, or even if you haven't watched it, this is definitely a really fun watch. But I've also watched Wendell and Wild recently.
Oh,
I love stop animation. I love Henry Selick and I love Jordan Peele. So it was like a match made in heaven. That one, I feel like the story was definitely like it was still pretty good.
mhm. Yeah.
It was great. It definitely had like a lot of good like horror elements, but like it was lacking a little bit of like that like Coraline, or like even like Nightmare Before Christmas has like very specific like traumatizing childhood imagery
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
really sticks with you.
Mhm.
Um, and I guess I don't know. It's probably just because I'm an adult at this point. But those are like the top two things that I've watched like really, really recently that I've like front of mind. What about you?
Love it, love it. But real quick though, someone else loved Window and Wild as well. So
Groundbreaking.
yes. Oh my gosh, I watched Window and Wild this weekend as well. I kind of felt the same way as you, but I took it as because I'm an adult. I think that if I would
Yeah.
have watched it as a kid, I would have been like, "Oh my god, everything." I love the way it looks. I love
Hmm.
the creepiness to it. It kind of made me sad. Which is understandable. No spoilers, but it just kind of made me sad. Just with that. And I'm trying to see what else did I watch. Gosh, it's just been a day. Oh, well, I rewatched one of my favorite movies on Halloween. This is like a couple of days ago.
Mm.
Um, Night of the Demons because it's a good time.
Angela.
Yes, she's just such a powerful woman. That dance scene is just
Mm.
everything.
She brings like so much to the table.
She does.
She brings great looks. She brings great moves. And her hair was like fierce the entire way through, even though
Okay, how are you a demon but your hair is perfect still?
literally, maybe that's
Girl.
why she's a demon. Like
Yeah.
she's a demon of like next world beauty.
I could see that, and it's like something too. I took it as even though like she was a demon, to me she came off like beforehand that she was always kind of like a mean girl, but the mean girl that you wanted to spend time with. That's why she was probably only friends with Suzanne because they were a duo though.
Honestly,
Yeah, but okay. And then yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just been a blur. I feel like I have been watching a lot of older movies because I
yeah.
ordered there's this website called dvdlady.com. It's just a random website. I don't know. And I ordered a whole bunch of like made for TV movies from like the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And then some of my favorites, like I ordered like Abby, Terrified, One Dark Night, like so just a couple of movies like that. And yes, some of these movies honestly are like hidden gems. So I bought like a whole bunch of blind buys and then I went on Amazon and I did the same thing. Because sometimes when you're feeling a little bit sad because it's not Halloween anymore, so you have to, spend your money, feel better. So
Exactly. Put your coin where it matters.
pretty
And in the
much.
blind buy, that's so cool. I have to
I
write that down
love
though. dvdlady.com.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like there's a
Yeah.
way where you can actually you can get like hard copies, like physical copies, but then
Mhm.
you can also get them like digitally. And so I was just like, okay, but I'm a physical girl, so I ordered some DVDs like that. But I think I'm gonna go back because I saw like a whole bunch more, and I'm just probably just gonna order them digitally and just call it a day. And then on top of that, I did check out. I binge watched like The Watcher on Netflix a couple
I
of days
still need
ago.
to do that.
Yeah, it just had me like really paranoid, and the fact that it's a true story, and they never found the person, right? So, but yeah, I'm trying to see, but yeah, that's pretty much it. We're gonna stop talking about me, and we're gonna dive into this list. But before we do have some comments I do want to go over. First, I just want to thank everybody for coming on and joining us. Um, we went down a little rabbit hole of what we've been watching, but that's okay. So this one comment, because you were talking about Alone in the Dark, someone else really digs this movie as well. We love to see it. Thank you
We
so
do love
much.
to see it.
And then there was another comment. Let me just scroll down. Oh, this is when we were actually talking about Night of the Demons. Yeah, that soundtrack is everything.
Everything. Literally like all of the 80s films that like either you or Megan or John have like recommended on the podcast. I'm like searching so hardcore to find the albums because they're
Oh,
just so good.
yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't even know that you listen to the podcast. What?
Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you.
absorbing literally like every episode of the bloody well, not like every episode because some
Yeah,
Wednesdays I
that's a
miss,
lot.
but and it is a lot. You guys literally just did your 100th episode. Like that, like,
Thank you.
hello. But yeah, no, I love listening to you guys speak. It's just like I've been terrified to like call because I know that you guys like still do like the whole voicemail thing,
You
and
should
I've been
call.
so tempted, but I was like, I don't know, I don't really, but I'll do it.
You should call. If not, you can also, if you're
Specifically.
a little bit, phone shy, you can also just send like a message and, tweet us, on
For
Instagram, whichever
sure.
works better for you. It's okay.
I want to hear my voice on the podcast, so I'll
Me
definitely leave a
too. That
voicemail.
would make me so happy. And I could be like, I know him. Bestie.
But yeah, I don't really see like a lot of other movies here,
Hmm.
but there's also a very strange bot.
Oh, yeah. What is happening?
um, I don't know, but their name's kind of iconic.
It is. Let me just,
69mega.com fire emoji. Want to
I
find
mean,
love?
that's pretty cool. That's a cool name, but you got to go.
Yeah,
You got to get
outspeed.
out of here. So we're just going to get rid of this person. I'm sorry. What is happening? Okay. That's okay. All right. So we're going to get back on track. I'm so sorry. I appreciate you coming with me down these rabbit holes, and it's fun. So thank you all for joining us again. As you can see, we are going to be talking about our top home invasion horror movies. And so just keep in mind, we will just keep it to 3 because I feel like we could have even extended the list. Like, I don't know about you. Yeah, I had a hard time, like, just only
Mhm.
doing 3. So,
When you
but it's
first
fine.
told me to like come up with the list, I had like 12. Like from the
Whoa.
jump. I was like, I have this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then you were like 3, and I was like super sad, but also super
Oh,
happy because I was like, I can narrow it down to like my
okay.
top 3. That's easy.
Okay, but what we'll do first, we'll have you go first,
Okay.
and then if we do, if we have like enough time and everything, then we'll be able to like go into like just some of the bonuses. But
Yeah.
because you are the guest, you are the this very special guest. You get to go first, and first let us know which one is your first pick.
Love that. So for me, I'll start at the bottom. I'll start with pick number 3.
Okay.
So for pick number 3, I chose Sleep Tight.
Hmm.
It is a 2011 Spanish horror film. I wrote up a little bio for like all of my picks,
Yes.
so because I'm super prepared. So yeah, I wrote Caesar, an unhappy hotel concierge, takes things a little too far when he decides to live vicariously through his tenants by living in their
Oh
homes.
my God.
So this film was directed by Jaume Balaguero. I
Yeah,
am so
I don't know.
sorry.
Okay.
But it's currently streaming on Tubi, which is completely free, and it's so awesome. And you should definitely download or use it if you haven't, because they have a great selection.
Yes.
So some of the highlights of this movie that I wanted to touch base on is the monologue at the beginning of the film. I think
Okay.
it like lures you in with this like false sense of security, which is just so typical of Caesar. Like he's so evil, like right from minute 1. He's
Yeah.
just like filled with just absolute menace.
Hmm.
Um, for me, I think this movie classifies more of like a room invasion more than it's like your typical home invasion because it's an apartment, it's like a high rise hotel,
Yeah.
but still like the power that Caesar lords over his tenants. It's like almost as frightening as his actions. Like there's that one scene where like at the very beginning where there's that lady with the dogs, and
Hmm.
she's like giving him all of this required care steps, and he's just like, yeah, okay, I hear ya. And then he goes and takes care of the dog and feeds it a slice of cake. Like, what? Or no, I think it's pie. Regardless, not the doggy's diet.
Hmm.
um but I think his influence and his impact make him the perfect villain for this movie. He's like a master manipulator and like a frequent liar, so this man
Yeah.
is like so sick and twisted. um Essentially, like, one of my favorite things about this movie is like the slow burn of it all.
Hmm.
Like it definitely feels like an hour and 40 minutes of like slow burn torture this poor woman is like going through it. I don't want to give away like spoilers just in case someone hasn't seen it or you guys like want to watch it after. But there's this one scene in particular that involves a bathtub,
Oh,
and it literally made me so tense the first time I ever watched it. My palms sweat, which like does not happen, and it's like literally the only movie in this list that's gotten me to do that. But like last two things I want to say about this movie is Ursula, the little girl. I just want to applaud her for her acting.
yeah, she's
She like
great.
she ate in
Mhm.
like every scene. She
She was
was
so
like
sick of him.
truly, and like she got hush money, like icon. And then the very last thing I want to say to wrap up is why did Marcos gotta die? Like,
Yeah,
why kill the hottest man with the fullest head of hair? Honestly, he might have just been jealous. That's all
I
I think.
think so. Clearly,
Like,
you know,
clearly,
like
Marcos was like the hottest man in the entire movie, and Caesar was just like, not in my
yeah.
house. Literally not in my house.
Every single time I think about this movie, or I think about like, I was so happy that you picked this movie, but it was going to be my pick because when I think about Home Invasion, I always think about him, and I always see this
I,
picture because
oh God,
you
was
know
not
he's
there.
it's creepy. It's not appealing. It's just like,
Mm,
please stop it. Like, can you imagine just some man that you briefly interact with comes into your home, like in the night, in the day. Just it's gross.
in the hours of whether you're there or not,
Yeah, he's there.
he is
And the fact that he's done it for so long, and it's like no spoilers, but it was like it no one noticed.
ever.
God.
And like, oh, that ending, like again, no spoilers, but like I haven't felt like that level of disgusting after leaving a movie than I have with that one. Like that
Mhm.
one, like literally left me with like a pit in my stomach, just like,
Yeah,
wow.
I believe it. So before we move on, we're gonna play like a quick little trailer just to give people a taste.
Yeah.
La llave de todos los apartamentos. Sí, como conserje tenía acceso al llavero. ¿Le pasa algo? Las cosas se están complicando. Creo que ha llegado el momento de empezar en serio. Allá vamos, Clara. ¿Qué le has hecho?
¡Pero que lo ha dicho el médico, joder! ¿O él tampoco le crees?
¿Sabes por qué te lo cuento? Porque quiero que sepas de lo que soy capaz.
Eek.
Yeah. So just in case if you haven't seen this movie,
Yeah.
LT highly recommends.
Yeah, for sure. Again, totally streaming on Tubi. You can watch it for free. Literally the best thing about Tubi is their horror selection. Like it's
Yes.
humongous.
It's like Tubi is so great because there are movies I've never even heard of in my life.
Yeah. Like I know that
So
there's like a couple like Amityville horror spin-offs. Because I love the story of the Amityville horror. Like the original like book I have on my bookshelf.
mhm.
I've definitely done like a lot of like research into the case, but like Tubi has like so many good ones. Oh my gosh, Laundry Day says I will pass. This is
Oh,
too intense. That's
I'm so
okay.
sorry. It's
I'll watch
okay.
it for you.
It is pretty intense.
Very like the scenes of tension throughout are very like delicious, I will say.
I agree. I agree. Okay. So, I guess it's obviously it's my turn. I was gonna say I guess it's my
Yeah.
turn, but no, it is. It's my turn. So my first pick, I'm going to go with looking through the little list. I'm gonna go with The Collector from 2009. So I'll just read like a quick little synopsis. Desperate to repay his debt to his ex-wife, an ex-con plans a heist at his new employer's country home, unaware that a second criminal also targeted the property and rigged it with a series of deadly traps. Deadly. So the reason why I picked this one is because this was to me like one of like the best like serial slasher. It kind of felt supernatural, but it's not supernatural. But home invasion movies.
Yeah.
I feel like this movie is just so awesome, and I always felt like The Collector should be a horror icon. We should have more movies, right?
He should have a whole franchise and a mask for sale.
Where is it? I'm not yelling at you, but yeah, you get me. But it's true, 100%. It's just so strange. And I remember like a couple of years ago, they kind of like played around and saying how there'll be like a third one, and it's just like, well, where is it?
Where is it?
Yeah, thank you.
We're waiting.
We're waiting. Like the way this person looks is just extremely creepy. And on top of that, like if you guys didn't know, like the kills are pretty creative. Like the whole movie in general is very creative, but the kills are very creative. And what's cool about this particular like person, they collect people, you know, because people, I remember I recommended this to a friend and he didn't. Well, what does he collect? And it's like, well, you have to watch it, you know. But then you'll see, you know what I mean? Like I can't just like tell you. That's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a really fun movie. I love the pacing in this movie. And again, like if you're someone who loves like fast pace, it kind of just throws you in. Because I actually rewatched it a couple of weeks ago, and within the first 15 minutes, there's something pretty creepy that happens. And look at that face. Look at it.
No.
But yeah, and it does, obviously it has a sequel, and the sequel is really great as well.
Oh, good. Like literally from minute, like I think again, like within the first 15 minutes, it like already exceeds all of the kills in the first movie. Like it's insane. But one thing I really like about The Collector is his eyes. His eyes are almost like similar to like almost like a cat or a dog, where they're like very reflective in the light.
Yes.
And the cinematography, oh my god, like all of those like what is it, like the overhead shots?
Yes.
It very much feels like we're like flies on the wall, like watching all of this like disgustingness unfold, because the kills are pretty gruesome. I'm not really like gonna turn my nose up at gore, but like there are some that like, whew, goddamn. One thing, when I was doing my research for this to talk with about this with you, did you ever watch The Nanny with Fran Drescher?
Which one?
The Nanny with Fran Drescher, the TV show in the 90s.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant a movie, and I was like, which one? But yeah,
Which nanny? The little girl, Madeline Zima, she's actually in this movie.
Oh, how awesome!
With the gorilla grip on the scissors.
Yes,
Miss Girl, the projector one. But yeah, I thought that was so cool. I was like, ain't no way.
That's awesome. I love that for her.
Truly, also same. Oh, Mrs. Sheffield. Also, I want to highlight my sister is in here too, and that's so very precious to me.
We'll just pop this up on the screen. Everyone can see.
That's my sister.
Hello.
Hi, Bella. Hello, I'm sister. I'm speaking. Okay, so
no, you're fine. I was gonna pop this one up as well.
Oh yeah.
But this is so true.
Which part?
I have to go back and watch it.
Oh. Was she really?
I don't know. That's what I have to like.
Yeah,
it's been so long. Yeah. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle, that one's on Tubi too.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's such a good service.
Real quick, let's just play the trailer for The Collector.
Yes.
But wait, you have to give one more shout out. We can't move on.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Victoria's in here too. My other bestie.
Yay.
Okay, she says I have really been meaning to watch The Collector. Well, the time is now, sis.
It is now. Okay, so we're gonna play the trailer real quick for The Collector.
Maui? What's that box doing in our bedroom?
Why would you open it?
I would have left. There could be a mom in there or something, like,
or a person.
a person.
But no, like to the porch. Move it to the porch. Get it out of the house.
Just run out of the house at that point.
Or that. Or run. I mean,
Okay,
if the
so
collector left you.
It's just it. The thing that's creepy about it too, real quick, is that I think that a lot of people probably would have opened up the box. You know, you probably would have just thought, oh, there's no harm in it. But I don't know. If anything that this movie teaches you, it tells you to run out of the house. Maybe it won't be too late. I mean, there could be a trap, but you better try. Don't use the front door. Maybe use the window. I don't know.
Yeah, be a little smarter than the killer. Or at
Yes.
least try.
So, okay, if you guys are just joining us, we already shared our first picks. Well, we're going backwards. So, was that your number 3?
That was
Okay.
my number 3.
So, all right, that one was my I can't order them. So, that was my pick. But okay, so now it is your turn again.
Ooh, yay. Okay, so for pick number 2, I went with Wait Until Dark. Again, I have a little synopsis I wrote up, which is super adorable. I said, after an accident causes a woman to go blind, she is approached by strange men inquiring about a doll her husband brought back home with him, and they will stop at nothing to get it back, not
Ooh.
even murder. So this film was directed by Terrence Young. And being that it came out in 1967, this is actually the 3rd oldest horror movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wow.
If you're curious where to watch it, you can find it on HBO Max. And a little history about me for this movie too. When I was in college, I was actually the stage manager for the play that we put on for Wait Until Dark. This was like back in like 2013, 2014. And it's seriously like stuck with me ever since. So the beginning of this film really throws the audience right in medias res. It does a great job of like slowly unraveling the mystery, and like the audience is like still like fully engaged the entire time, which I love. I love a good mystery thriller. But I think my favorite thing about this film is like how instantly quotable it is. Like there's the scene where she's talking with Mike, and he's like gaslighting her for like the 30th time about this damn doll. And she goes, the something was a doll. Mrs. Rote's special made, handmade, made in Canada doll. And it's like, I literally say it like all the time. It's just so fun. But yeah, I think the movie is like super great. It's full of like really chilling moments, which, you know, it's full of suspense. And, you know, even though it was made in the 60s, I think it still like holds up exceedingly well. And while there is like tons to love about this movie, there is a jump scare in the final act that literally made me scream out loud when I saw it. Like I knew it was coming, right? Like you can feel like the tension building, you can hear the strings, but I wasn't expecting him to leap out like that.
Ooh.
But yeah, this film stars a very young Alan Arkin, as well as Audrey Hepburn, who does absolutely phenomenal in this movie. There's like a scene at the very end where it like plays with light, so the movie is like very sensory in Act 3. So I feel like, because I've only seen this like in my living room, but I feel like if I were to see this on the big screen, it would be like a much more enjoyable experience.
I have not seen this movie, and I added it to my list because of you. And based on like the trailer, it looks really good. It
Yeah.
looked like it can be very intense, you
It's
know.
definitely got that like sense of like feeling of what's the word? Like it makes your heart race.
Hmm.
Because obviously like the stakes are really high for this woman. Like she is
Yeah.
differently abled. She is not able to see
Mhm.
her killers, and so she has to rely on her other senses. But yeah, that like flip at the end is like
Whoa.
so iconic.
So
So
how did you find this movie? How did you like, do you remember like the first time you checked it out?
yeah, it was like I said, like back in like either 2013 or 2014 when I was still in college, we all kind of got together at the theater that we were putting the play on at,
Mhm.
and we just kind of like watched it as a company. So it was dark. I just remember that, and it was dark when we got in, and it was even darker when we left, and I had to go home alone.
Oh.
But honestly, it was just a super great experience to like kind of
Mhm.
see the movie that we were eventually going to be bringing to life on the stage. So it was, I don't know, it was just kind of like a really like humbling experience to just to be like around all the actors that were eventually going to be playing all the parts that were not really my favorite people.
Mhm.
And it was a really cool time. I definitely would do it again. That was a good highlight of my like early 20s. I can say that now because I'm over the hill, as they say.
You're not over the hill. But okay, we're going to play a quick trailer for everyone to check out. That's so cool.
And also her hair, like I don't know
Yes.
if it's like honestly, it kind of looks like how mine is right now, but like hers definitely has more volume in the back. But yeah, I was just like, she pulls off that really short cut like really well.
She does. She does. Is this after Breakfast with Tiffany?
I would assume so. I'm not really versed in her
Yeah,
filmography,
me neither. Me neither. But
but yeah, I mean, I can let's look it up.
okay.
Breakfast. No, not Breakfast Near Me. Um, Breakfast at Tiffany's. Yeah, came out in 1961. So this was 6 years later. So yeah,
Okay. That's so awesome that she did this role. Love that.
really, especially because it really like shows her versatility as an actress.
Mhm.
To not only play someone who is differently abled, but also to be like in a role that requires so much emotion
Yeah.
from your like lead, because I mean she's got to juggle quite a lot. Like she's scared one moment, but then she
Mhm.
has to be like the adult when the little girl comes in, so that way she doesn't show that the little girl can be scared, blah blah. But like, whew, she put in the work. That's why it's number two.
Okay. I can see that. That's a really good pick. And again, I added it to my list. I'm very intrigued to check it out.
Yeah, it's best enjoyed with a glass of wine.
Okay. So, okay, I was just getting a little bit distracted, just making sure that bot is gone. But
Oh, honestly, yeah, someone said it was back, and I was scared.
me too. Don't be scared. Okay. Okay, so for my second pick, I'm going to go with Ghostland, aka Incident in a Ghostland. I'll read the synopsis to you guys real quick. A mother of two who inherits a house is confronted with murderous intruders on the first night in their new home and fight for their daughters' lives. 16 years later, when the daughters reunite at the house, things get really strange. This by far is one of the creepiest movies that I've seen. Well, I don't want to say made for TV because it had that feel to me for some reason, because I watch a lot of made for TV movies. But this movie it's visually, it is so beautiful. Like, I love the cinematography. I love the set design. It has a lot of creepy dolls and everything. It's like really haunting. I will say this. It's unfortunate with what happened behind the scenes. One of the actresses, she was scarred like on both sides of her face. Her name is Taylor Hickson. She plays like young Vera. It was an incident that happened, which is so unfortunate, where I'm not going to lie, sometimes it does kind of, pop up in my brain when I'm watching the movie, just thinking about what she went through. But it is like a visually stunning and beautiful movie. If you guys haven't checked it out for some reason, because you need to get on that, just because it's that good. Have you ever seen this one?
I did. I watched it when it was released on Shudder, and
Yes.
I instantly fell in love. It's directed by the same director that did Martyrs.
Mhm.
I love New French Extremity. It's like there's that one scene in the cellar where the two sisters are like together, and she's like telling her to like wake up, and the other one's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's just like, it's like heartbreaking, but
Mhm.
also tense AF at the same time. So I
Yeah,
really love that.
it really is. And it was like, I don't remember when I checked it out. I don't even know if it was just released in theaters or if it was like released on VOD with video on demand or something. But I don't know. I felt like it's something that I've been waiting to see my whole life, just because even when it comes to like creepy dolls, I feel like it is a major staple, within the horror
Mhm.
genre. And so they really did play with us visually with that.
No, yeah, for sure. I definitely like, now that you've got me thinking about like the dolls again, I'm just like trying to go back and be like, maybe I need to watch more horror movies with dolls, because I'm not like scared of them, but it's just like not on my like the front of my brain. But it needs to move there.
Well, it depends. It depends on if it's your jam or not. But I love doll horror movies. Like, one of my favorites is Stuart Gordon's Dolls from 1987.
The one with the
Yes, you know it. Yeah. It's just, it feels like a magical movie. I know that's a weird thing to say, but it feels like
oh yeah.
that's for, like a movie that was made for kids, but it's horror and there's blood. And the dolls they're not evil dolls, but they did attack a lot of people. But
It made me want to watch, like, if I was gonna do that one, I'd probably like double feature it with like Puppet Master, where it's just like very like similar campy kills, but like still like pretty horrifying. Like the eyeball thing, it sticks
yeah,
with you.
it does. It does. So I'm just going to play a quick trailer for us, and then we're going to move on to our final picks. But before you pick like your final pick, we'll do like a recap.
Yeah.
She keeps reliving that night over and over.
Are you gonna let me die alone?
I never should have stayed in that house.
Nobody's here. No one is here, Vera.
I know what you want from your sister.
They broke me, and now they're playing with you. Do you understand now, Beth? What did you do to me? Except what happened. Tell me what you did! Stop running away!
It wanted to keep playing.
We gotta watch it twice. Before we do the recap, I just want to call out one very cute little thing. So the Supergirl just says, "I think your love for SG's dolls is what brought me to Real Queen of Horror, TBH." It's so good. That makes my heart so
It
happy.
makes me happy too. It is such a good movie. It's just wonderful. And that's one of the reasons why I like really just RIP Stuart Gordon, but that's why I like really loved his work. But that was one of my favorite movies of his. So
Man.
so sad. So sad. But okay. No more sadness.
That was my tears going back up in my eyes.
Okay, good. Just suck those tears up. Okay, before you let us know like your first pick, your number one pick, can you do like a recap for us?
Sure. So in spot number 3, I have Sleep Tight, the 2011 Spanish horror film about Caesar, who dabbles a little too closely to his tenants. Second is Wait Until Dark, 1967, Audrey Hepburn, sickening, iconic, and full of good tension. And then for the number 1 pick, The Strangers. So this film is directed by Brian Bertino. It came out in 2008. And the little bio I wrote for it is bringing his girlfriend to his childhood home seemed like the most romantic escape. Meanwhile, 3 masked killers have other ideas. So this film, just like Sleep Tight, is also currently streaming on Tubi, our MVP of horror.
Yes.
So for this particular movie, I was 16 when this film came out, which was so long ago. But I have like the most vivid memory of my experience watching this film. So I went to go see this with my brother and his best friend, and they sat me like right in the middle. I just remember the film being like really loud, and like this was like one of my first horror movies that they had like snuck me into, because obviously I was 16 at the time, couldn't really go see an R-rated movie on my own. But my brother and his friend would like poke at me, I guess, like just like every time there was a jump scare, so it would like get me even like, it would make me scream like even louder. And then I specifically remember coming home later that night, and Steven, my brother, he like knocked on my door at like 4 a.m. and the hallway light was off. So I was already scared out of my wits. I had gotten maybe like 2.5 hours of sleep at this point. And like I creak open my door just a little bit, and he's like, "Is Tamara home?"
Why?
Why? I don't know. My brother just likes to torture me. But this film in particular is the reason why I became so obsessed with horror. It like really helped kickstart like my curiosity into like why I like to feel the sensation of fear. I don't know. This film just like woke something up in me. I don't know. It flipped the switch for me. But I also got to see this film quite recently at a theater in town, and the PA was like so loud. So like even when people were screaming, I could like barely hear it over the movie. But my partner, who does not like horror like at all, Trooper, by the way, they told me that their Apple Watch was saying that their heartbeat went all the way up to 122 while they were seated. So I was like, oh, okay. Definitely appreciate hearing that. But all in all, this film really taps into something super visceral yet completely tangible. Not just in regard to like the horror aspects, but like we've all had a relationship that, you know, where the other party just wasn't feeling it. Like, you know, they said something you weren't expecting. And, you know, like having the film start with those moments of awkward tension just make the horror that comes later like much more impactful, I think. And I know I told you earlier that I have one fun fact about this movie, but I also have one other fun fact that is like piping hot tea.
Okay.
First one. So at the screening I went to, Brian Bertino was actually present. So I got to like see and meet and like shake his hand and like tell him he's my hero. But during the Q&A, Brian had told us that he actually experienced something quite similar to the events that unfold in The Strangers. He said that when he was about 10 years old, a man came knocking at his family's ranch home, and his sister and him were alone at the house, and his sister went to go answer the door, and the man was like, "Are your parents home?" And obviously she was like, "No." And then the man left, and they didn't think anything of it. Only to find out the next day that the man was doing it to everyone in the neighborhood, and for everyone that did not answer their door, he broke into their homes.
Whoa.
Like, I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
But the piece of piping hot tea which I know you're ready for, is Scream 3 alumni Parker Posey was actually Brian Bertino's favorite confidant for the movie.
Whoa.
He would like regularly approach her and ask for her input on the film. Like he was talking to her about the whole writing process. And when it came time to casting, she's actually the reason that Liv Tyler is in the film, because they were like already friends before the film had even gotten on its feet. And it's just so mind-blowing for me to like be a part of that experience and just like hear that one of my favorite actresses, Parker Posey, was like involved in one of my favorite horror movies. So that's like really
so awesome.
But at the end of the day, I chose this film as my number one favorite home invasion horror flick. That's a mouthful. Strictly because of the memories attached to it, as well as like how it scares the... Can I curse?
Live your best life.
This movie scares the absolute shit out of me. And in all honesty, I kid you not, before I saw it at the screening, which was just like a couple weeks ago, the last time I saw this film was in theaters when I was 16. Wow. I like committed every frame of this movie to memory because of how it horrified me. So good. If you haven't already checked it out, what are you waiting for? This movie is like, what, 14, 15 years old?
Get on it.
Get on it. It's a good movie.
I feel exactly the same way. The last time I watched it, though, I think maybe it was like 2014 or 15, and that was like the second time. But because there are some movies, sometimes you just want to keep it in your memory. You don't want to watch it too much, you know?
Yeah. That's definitely one of those films.
Yeah. It's, and that line, you know, because you were home, like, what?
Literally,
But before we play the trailer, I did want to play the clip that you sent me.
Oh, yeah. I'll intro it. So at the event, he kind of came on stage and did like a cute little foreword before the movie started. And I recorded the whole thing. So and sent it to Zena. So let's watch.
But sadly, we don't have the full one, you know. But if they do want the full one, can they contact you?
Yeah. Okay. If anything, I can try and make like an Instagram reel of it and post it to my Instagram later.
That'd be awesome. Okay, so playing it now.
I was one of the kids that went to Balkan Video, and you rented all the 70s dramas and genre movies, and I started thinking about my love of drama and horror, and those were the two kinds of movies that I rented. And so I wanted to try to put that stuff together. And so on my third script, I wrote The Strangers, and I entered it into a bunch of contests, and in 1 week, my life changed. Like, a manager got it, it took it to Universal. I went from not having a bank account, my 86 Honda had been totaled, I was driving a green Volvo, four-door that you'll see in this movie. And literally, you know, all the dreams came true. So to have it come full circle, to be able to be back here, I think is a really special thing to me. And I always wanted to make a horror movie that felt like a nightmare, because to me, I'm like, what else is the point? So, you know, so I hope that this scares you, or bothers you, or makes you feel uncomfortable. And if it did, then I achieved what I was looking for all those years ago.
That was so great. And that is so cool that you were there.
Honestly, he was like, there was one part where he was like surrounded by people in the lobby. I was like just awestruck, just being like, hey, you scared the shit out of me when I was 16. Can I shake your hand?
Love that. Love, you know, as you know, horror fans, sometimes it's hard to find that, you know, like a movie that sticks with you. And look at you now, like you still hold it up very high. And I love to see that.
Yeah. I do want to take a quick moment to say my brother is actually here. And he was like, I do not recall. Yeah, well, right. I recall.
Maybe it didn't happen. Okay. All right. And since we did play that, I also do want to play the trailer for The Strangers. And then I will let you guys know my final pick as well.
Words can say.
I love you, Jimmy.
You're my girl. What is it, like 4 in the morning?
Hello? You're gonna die.
Well,
Yeah.
damn.
Like watching the trailer brought me back. You know, it brought me back to that.
Me too,
So
girl.
love it so much. Okay, so now I'm gonna let you guys I'm gonna do a recap. So LT, I know that, you know, just a reminder to people, LT, they ordered theirs. I didn't order mine. You know, I didn't put it in order. I can't do that. It's like, I can't pick my favorite. So instead, we'll just say collector. I talked about the collector first. And then I talked about Incident in Ghostland, aka Ghostland. And now my final pick, it's another French movie, and it is Inside. 2007. So a quick synopsis. 4 months after the death of her husband, a woman on the brink of motherhood is tormented in her home by a strange woman who wants her unborn baby. So this movie creeped me out for a lot of reasons. But I'll just say, if you are someone, you have like a weak stomach, you don't like blood or violence, this movie is not for you at all. It's pretty gruesome. It's very, very gruesome. I love, you know, French horror. I know, LT, you mentioned like the French extreme movies earlier. But if you are someone who loves like French extreme, this is for you. This is right up your alley if you have not seen it. And I believe that there is an American remake of it. I don't know if I've seen that.
No.
Okay.
Keep it untainted.
Oh no. Okay. Well, since you've seen it, because I was gonna say, I don't know if I've seen it. I don't remember. I don't think so. What's wrong with the American one?
I don't know. I feel like when you do an American remake, they usually try and like water it down for the audience. Like you see a lot when it's like Japanese remakes in particular. But
Yeah.
like for this one, I mean, it was definitely like still super close to the original, but it just like I actually watched them in reverse. I watched the American one first, and then I watched the French one. And I was like, why didn't I start here? Like this one,
Yeah.
it had like greater scares, better tension, better character, like interaction too. And it's just like it was such a wild ride from start to finish. Like she wants that baby. She gonna get that baby. She
wants that baby.
She wants it. It's hers.
Pretty much. And it's just like, I love the way they unroll the movie. You know what I mean? You are literally at the edge of your seat. And at the time when I watched it, we didn't really get to see a lot of brutal women, you know, killers. Yes, we had Asami audition. You know? Yeah, that part just makes me cringe. And then we also had, I mean, she wasn't as gruesome. She was just more crazy. Urban legend, you know.
Oh yeah, her.
Yeah.
Her eyes, they were huge at the end of the film when she was like obviously like the deal and whatnot. They were huge.
The thing that made me laugh about her is that she held that in. She held it in. She just couldn't wait to like let it out.
Oh, for real.
I was kind of hoping that she would have killed Natalie, though. I'm sorry. I never liked Natalie.
She was a final girl.
Yeah. So, but okay. See, we're going down a rabbit hole. But yeah, this movie again, it's very gruesome, and I love the fact that we have like a female who is acting out like this just brutal scene. scenes throughout it. Again, it's bloody, it's mean. I couldn't imagine going through something like that. Like sometimes even watching the movie, it just makes you feel dirty. So
Oh yeah, very that. And a
yeah.
lot of the horror that like happens to her in particular is very like the hands,
Mhm.
like very like we know what hand pain feels like
Yeah.
we know, so it's just like having to then like see that like portrayed on screen is just like adds another layer to the scare, I
Yeah,
think.
I agree. So let me just play a trailer real quick. Woo! See, it's mean, it's bloody.
Yeah,
And it
it's
wasn't even hard to find that in the trailer. It was just right there.
immediate.
So we do have time to mention some of our bonuses. So you have to tell me, and you just let me know what your bonuses, like all of them.
Okay, so I only had like 2 prepared because I didn't know like how long we would have. But first one, Becky, 2020, came out on I think Paramount.
Yeah.
And it stars this very young Lulu Wilson. You may recognize her from The Haunting of Hill House or Ouija, The Origin of Evil. And she plays this hell-bent teenager who, after these like neo-Nazis invade her home and like do things, they get got.
Pretty much.
They get got. And the kills for that one is like pretty gruesome as well. One thing I really like is how creative she is with her kills. Like especially at the beginning of the film, they're like talking about the man in like the orange shirt or something, and they're like, "What did you do to him?" And she's like, "It." But then the second one is You're Next. I love You're Next. Literally, she is so smart. She is just like way ahead of the curve. Like to me, she's like what a final girl like should be in the modern age. She has that like tragic past, but she doesn't let it affect her. She like grows from it. And also my birth mother, Barbara Crampton, is in this movie. Which if you didn't know already, like I've watched pretty much almost everything she's ever been in, horror or not. And the whole cast is great. Like they did a lot of awesome things with it. Ty West is in it. Adam Wingard is the director. I know both of them from VHS. They're like pioneers, I would say, for like modern horror.
I agree. And I love those 2 picks. And Becky, like it. I heard that there's going to be a sequel.
Becky too.
Yeah, which I was like, oh, okay, but I don't know how is that gonna work. But okay.
I'm curious.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
I'm intrigued. I'll watch the trailer.
Yeah. And Lulu Wilson, she is so talented.
Yeah, she's a little powerhouse. Little Miss Actress. I cannot wait to see what she does in the future. Because like if this is how she is and she's like not even like 18 yet, like good God, where does she pull this from?
That's the talent, and then also with Your Next as well. It's been a while since I watched that one. I remember checking it out in the theater and just being completely blown away by like the soundtrack.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh. Oh, what? Because I was like, oh, the movie was cool, but I just meant like the soundtrack to me, like really, it was unexpected. So I really enjoyed that. So
one thing my friends and I talk about for that movie is at the beginning where the woman discovers her man, like, and the You're Next on the wall. We always say that is the strongest double-sided tape on her little skimpy shirt that we've ever seen.
Ever. So. And I guess the only, the last thing before we do like wrap up and everything, I have one bonus because this is what I was like really, really struggling with. Hush from 2016.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about a deaf rider. She is retreated into the woods, and she's pretty much has to like fight for her life. It's just so creepy, and also Kate Flanagan, not Kate Flanagan.
I mean,
Kate
basically.
Siegel. I mean, yeah, but thank you. But Kate Siegel, like she's incredible, like as always, and I love her and Mike Flanagan together. They're a great duo. I know that they wrote it together, and he directed it, and she stars in it. It's just like they're just powerful. So, and it's definitely it felt more thriller-ish for me. But I still really, really enjoy it. It's one of the movies that I feel like it kind of gives me comfort for some reason. So I love to like just rewatch it every now and then.
I
So
agree.
yeah.
That's another one that has to deal with like the hand.
Yeah. What is with that?
Well, I think that's just kind of like Mike Flanagan's thing because he did a thing with like the hand in Oculus. I'm not sure he did something. He definitely did it in Doctor Sleep too.
Yeah, I remember that in Doctor Sleep.
But I don't know. I think that's just like his thing, like his go-to. I haven't watched Midnight Club yet, so I don't know if there's a hand thing in that one. But I know that that's kind of like slowly becoming his like signature.
I'll have to go back to watch. Well, I recently finished the Midnight Club. I should have mentioned that earlier, but I'm not gonna lie, it just made me really sad. It made me really sad. It tugs at your heart. But the scares are pretty awesome. There's this one, I don't remember which episode it was, but it was like really, really creepy. And I was watching it in the dark alone. So it kind of made me jump a little. So, but yeah, that's our list, everybody. Before you go and everything like that, I just want to thank LT again for coming on here. You're my bestie. You were just so wonderful and talented. I love your thoughts when it comes to movies, and you're so passionate about it. It's just really inspiring. Yeah. Like, you're the best.
No, you're the best queen. That's why you're the queen, and I'm just a court jester.
No. So I do have down below where everyone can follow you. So just in case, just a reminder, make sure you guys follow LT. Your tweets are the best. Also, you said you don't have the green bucket? McDonald's bucket?
Oh, I was like, girl, what you talking about green bucket? Yeah, I have the McPumpkin and McBoo, but I don't have the green one. By the time I went to go, they were sold out.
I'm sorry.
I went to like 4 different McDonald's. 4.
I'm sorry.
My
You know
sister
what?
has it though, so I might steal it.
Just borrow it and never give it back. That's what I do with my sisters.
Oh, she literally just said, "I'll give it to you." That's my favorite.
She's
sister.
the best.
Yay! Now I have a full set.
But okay, thank you guys so much for joining us, and do not forget to follow LT. Hope that you guys again enjoyed our list. This was a lot of fun, and we probably could have went on forever, but it's fine.
We could.
But okay, bye everybody.